Having raised $100 million in the new fund, what lessons did you bring from your preceding funds which you think will be useful when it comes to now deploying capital afresh into businesses?
Quite a number, yeah? Quite a number of lessons we've learned. Well, the biggest one I would say, maybe the one lesson I would say I learned from our previous fund is it's not easy to change someone. If someone has been running a business for the last 20 years in a particular way, to think that they sign a contract today and tomorrow they will change, it never happens. So from our portfolio, we saw, and I'm being very candid about this, the companies where the entrepreneur left management and worked together with us as a non-executive role, and we appointed an independent management team, went very well. And the relationship became much stronger. Why? Because the entrepreneur is street smart. He has been running the business for the last 20 years, so he knows. He sees a table, he'll know this thing is not straight, right? The management team comes with the strategy of trying to grow and everything, so we are sitting on one side of the table, getting a conversation on execution from the other side of the table. Where we find the entrepreneur sitting on the other side of the table, when we start asking difficult questions, it becomes a very difficult conversation to have. Nobody has questioned him before. And now there are people who are telling him, no, you cannot do this. I was thinking about investing in this. I thought about it last week and I think it's a good idea. No, we don't think it's a good idea. And before you do it, please do this research, do this thing, then present a paper to us on the table. Before that, he would wake up and just do it. Okay? Now, he's finding that barrier, and that's change is difficult. That's what I've come to learn. Change is very, very difficult. So we tend to encourage a lot of entrepreneurs to think about it, especially where we are taking a significant stake. Ask them, do you really want to remain as management? Because the first thing we will do is to give you a contract, an employment contract. This guy started the business just like that. Yes. Now you're telling him, I'm going to give you 8 to 5, 30-day leave day. One entrepreneur in Uganda told us, I'm not going to do that. There's no way I'm going to. What you mean? No. If that's the case, I'm sitting with you on this other side. Let's employ an independent MD. And it has worked perfectly. Because the entrepreneur knows the tricks of the game. And he'll know where management is trying to hide any story. So he will pick it up very quickly. But at the same time, he also expects us to add our value in looking at the capital structure. That's the value we add to businesses. We tell them, I'm not going to be clever in health services if someone has been running it. But I'm going to help in thinking about the capital structure. Do we really need to borrow this money? And if you're borrowing the money, to what level can you really borrow? And what terms do you negotiate with the bank or the credit lenders? We play a big role in that. We've also seen a lot of businesses that are being shown to us by banks. We don't buy them because I think the banks have become very careless. They ended up lending businesses carelessly. So they're over-leveraged. And by the time they're coming to, maybe you need to talk to a PE player, someone to inject equity, we look at the business we can't touch. Yeah. And we ask them, let's work together. You as a corporate lender need to look at this guy, look at his balance sheet and say, look, I can only lend you 20% of what you're asking for. The rest of it must come from equity. And where do I get that equity? Talk to private equity funds. Yeah. But there's all this thing of I want to do the whole deal by myself, and then a lot of businesses are now collapsing. So if you go to the banks' special situations, there are a lot of companies that were very good, or you still out here you see them, the brands are still there, but what's happening behind them there is terrible. Yeah. The entrepreneurs are not sleeping.